There's some concerning news going around for Alexa Bliss, so we'll see what's new there. We'll also check out what's happening with Solo Sikoa, Charlotte, and more. Starting things off with the new developments for the Allies of Convenience. The August 22nd edition of Smackdown featured Charlotte Flair taking on Piper Niven in a singles match. Piper had her full squad with her. Chelsea and Alba were there at ringside, but noticeably missing on Charlotte's side was Alexa Bliss, who was nowhere to be seen. The reasoning for Alexa not being in Ireland for SmackDown was due to the fact that she was not medically cleared to compete, which is always a scary thing to hear because it can mean so many different things and be so vague. But it looks like it can be a storyline injury for Alexa Bliss, because they already revealed that both Charlotte and Alexa will put the women's tag team titles on the line against Piper and Alba during the August 29th edition of SmackDown. So thankfully not a crazy injury or anything serious that's keeping Alexa Bliss out of the ring. It looks like she just didn't travel to Ireland, so the medical clearance line appears to be cover-up for her absence on the show. But they're currently advertising Alexa to be in this title defense next week with Charlotte from France, so it looks like Alexa will be in action on that show. Due to Alexa's absence on the August 22nd episode of SmackDown, this led to Chelsea, Alba, and Piper absolutely ganging up on Charlotte Flair. There was so much outside interference that Piper legitimately got a pinfall victory over Charlotte Flair. So that's a pretty big victory in general for Piper. And it's a big win that gives her team a whole lot of momentum heading into that big tag team titles match on SmackDown. Will Alexa and Charlotte lose the tag team titles in this spot? It seems very unlikely that they'll lose the titles here. It's still very early into their reign, and it feels like they haven't even scratched the surface of where they can take Alexa and Charlotte. So for those reasons, it doesn't seem like those women's tag team titles are going anywhere. Alexa and Charlotte should retain those titles over Piper and Alba, and keep their reign going with each other. Now, in the world of fan theories and story speculation, there is a possible story route that fans are discussing here for Charlotte, and it involves Kiana James. Ever since returning to SmackDown a few weeks ago, Kiana James has established herself as a top advocate in the women's division. Kiana instantly linked up with Julia, and within a heartbeat, Kiana led Julia to winning the United States title. And in the weeks since she played that big role for Julia, Kiana James has been pitching her services pretty much to anyone that would listen to her. She pitched her services to big stars like Tiffany Stratton and Jade Cargill. And fans are wondering if the day may come where Kiana James could pitch her services to Charlotte Flair. Kiana and Charlotte are close friends in real life. They've been posting a lot of photos together from this recent overseas tour. But what if an on-screen pairing is teased for the both of them? Kiana's potential pitch to Charlotte Flair could be simple. Kiana could literally poke fun at Charlotte for being trapped in the tag team division, and mention how the great Charlotte Flair should be shining by herself in the singles division for world titles, being the queen, being who Charlotte Flair truly is. Kiana could try to get Charlotte Flair to remember those world title glory days, and try to get that selfish side of Charlotte Flair to come back up to the surface again. Kiana could promise to get Charlotte Flair back into the world title picture if she takes her services. Maybe that offer does make Charlotte step back a bit and analyze the whole situation. Does she want to keep having fun with Alexa Bliss, or does she want to go back to her old ways and try to win her first singles world title since 2023? That would be the big question and big internal conflict Charlotte would find herself in if Kiana did approach her with an idea and pitch like that. If Charlotte takes Kiana's offer, that would obviously mean the end of the Allies of Convenience, and Charlotte would have to toss away Alexa Bliss. Although it would be interesting to see what Kiana and Charlotte could do together. The idea of Charlotte reverting to a heel after her time with Alexa Bliss does seem a bit flat. Charlotte going through all that character progression with Alexa Bliss, only to go back to being her old self, would be a bit questionable for sure. But considering their close friendship and Kiana looking everywhere for more clients, it would be at least interesting to hear what Kiana could say to Charlotte Flair, involving a pitch for her services. You can even make a case that Kiana could make that same offer to Alexa Bliss as well, and tempt Alexa to leave Charlotte's side. Alexa last held a singles world title back in 2018. Maybe Kiana could use that fact to get Alexa to hear her out on the offer as well. So there's a lot of potential directions for Alexa and Charlotte, and it should be great no matter which one they end up going with. Speaking of fan theories, fans think that Solo Sikoa and MFT could be adding a woman to their group soon, and there's a very good reason why. Recent reports have been claiming that MFT versus Wyatt Sicks is supposed to be kicking off soon on SmackDown. Both factions seem to balance themselves out perfectly in most departments. But there's one department that things are unbalanced in, and that's the fact that the Wyatt Sicks have a woman in their group, while MFT does not have one at all. So if these two groups do collide, it leaves Nikki Cross in a pretty awkward spot because she has no one to really attack on MFT. No real role for Nikki to play there in that feud. That's what's making fans feel like Solo Sikoa has to add a female cousin to his group to really balance things out and have someone standing by, ready to cancel out Nikki Cross if she gets in the way of things. And who could that special new addition be for Solo Sikoa's group? Well, a lot of fans feel like Nia Jax could be that perfect addition that Solo desperately needs if he's really going to take on the Wyatt Sicks. Nia Jax is family to Solo Sikoa and would be the smooth, perfect fit that's needed for the group to have this fair fight with the Wyatts. Not to mention that Nia and Nikki have had some run-ins with each other over the last few years, so there is bits of history to play off of there for sure. If Solo does add Nia Jax to his group, it is massive because it would be something that's been 5 years in the making. Ever since the original Bloodline days back in 2020, fans constantly had conversations about what it would look like if a female member of the family stepped in to join Roman and the family back then. The Bloodline had control of the world titles and the tag team titles. Fans thought it was only a matter of time before Roman brought in a woman to the group, so that the family could also gain control of the women's world titles as well. Some fans thought it was a perfect role for Naomi or Nia Jax to take, but they never ended up adding any women to the original Bloodline that was ran by Roman Reigns. Solo Sikoa's MFT group may not literally be the Bloodline anymore, but it's still a group within the family, so him bringing in Nia Jax would finally make that long-awaited fan idea come true after all these years. The addition of Nia Jax highly raises Solo's odds of getting past the Wyatt Sicks and eliminating them as a threat. Not only is Nia a big help in the Wyatt Sicks feud, but she would be a lot of help for MFT going forward into the future. Solo would now have some of the best manpower with him, and also have the most impactful woman on the roster as well by his side. That could lead Solo Sikoa down a path of doing something that even Roman Reigns never did, and that's controlling the men's and women's divisions at the same time using his group. So that's why the addition of Nia Jax would be huge not only for this one specific feud, but for all of MFT altogether. So we'll have to see if Nia could be on the way if the Wyatts and MFT do collide after all. But what are your thoughts on today's stories? Leave your comments below. Don't forget to subscribe with all notifications on, and leave a like if you enjoyed. Thanks for watching, guys.